Good morning, my dear students. I hope you all are fine and learning and revising the things properly. But in last few lectures, we have been reading about recursion. So today we are introducing a new concept, although we have worked upon this concept very much, but still I just want to make certain points clear to you. We have read recursion. Recursion is when a function is calling itself. Okay, so why we are reading recursion? Recursion shortens our program length because we are not supposed to call any function. A function is calling itself till the work has been done. So the botheration of calling the function is overcome. Okay, but we can't say recursion is better in every situation. There are some programs where if we are going to give a solution using this concept of recursion, then definitely it will cost us much in terms of memory, in terms of time and other terms also, right? But somewhere we find iteration is helpful when recursion is failing out. Okay, when recursion is not able to resolve the issue, or means to say we are not able to get a small program through recursion, then in that case we can switch to iteration. Although iteration is also not the perfect solution for everything, because it is lengthening the program many times. Okay, I'll let you know the differences. We can't say recursion is the best option or iteration is the best option. It depends upon the problem we are using, okay, and the situation we need to sense. Then we should use either recursion or iteration. Okay, so in this chapter you will be reading out recursion and as well as programs with this iteration method also. Iteration means what? Iteration is your looping only. When we are using a for loop to perform a particular task. In recursion, we are not using any loop. We are just giving the base condition or base case, we can say, to terminate. And it keeps on decrementing the values one by one, and ultimately we reach the base case, right? So we have to decide ourselves whether we have to go for recursion or for iteration. The both methods are available in the book. Okay, and in program also you may be asked to perform a particular question with the help of recursion or through iteration, so you must know the both ways how to use them. Okay, so let us discuss these concepts here. We will be doing comparison between recursion and iteration. So I'll be reading out these sentences because they are very meaningful sentences. We must read every line of it. Okay, so recursion and looping are actually related concepts. Generally, anything you do with a loop, you can do it with recursion. I told you you can do in any of the way, either with the help of recursion or you can do it with the help of loop. Any problem that you want to solve, any program that you want to prepare. Okay, sometimes one way is simpler to write and sometimes the other is, but in principle they are interchangeable. Okay, you can use recursion and looping interchangeably. Sometimes it may not affect the performance of the program, or sometimes it may affect. Okay, so you have to see which is suiting best. Okay, so even for the problems that can be treated equally well through the iteration and recursion, there is a subtle difference, which is because of the way loops and method calls are treated by a programming language compiler. Okay, what is the difference? Let us know. This paragraph is very important. You must read it. When a loop repeats, okay, a for loop may we have to repeat a number of times a particular task. Okay, it uses some same memory locations for variables. Okay, same memory variables for variables. Okay, then repeats the same unit of code. Okay, same memory locations will be used every time, right? Whereas in recursion, instead of repeating the same unit of code, and using the same memory location for variable, fresh memory space is located for each recursive call. Here the same memory is being used every time. Here whenever you are using recursion, every time recursion occurs till the base case has been reached, so every time it uses, whenever a recursive call comes, it uses fresh memory space. It will use the same memory space every time. Okay, and this will use a fresh memory space every time when the recursive call occurs. Okay, as it happens, any problem that can be solved via iteration can be solved using recursion. Okay, and any problem that can be solved via recursion can be solved through iteration. कहने का मतलब क्या है बेटा? We just want to say कि we can solve any problem either with the help of recursion or we can solve it with the help of iteration. Okay, now iteration is preferred by programmers for most recurring events. Okay, most of the programmers, they are preferring iteration. Okay, for the most occurring events, reserving recursion for instances where the programming solutions would be greatly simplified. They are using only recursion when this where they are getting a simplified solution. Okay, in a programming language, recursion involves an additional cost in terms of the space used by the RAM. Whenever you're using RAM, you know every time fresh memory space is required, and moreover a large piece of RAM is required along with it. Okay, so in terms of space, in terms of your RAM, if we compare iteration and recursion, then definitely recursion is a costlier method because it will include much more amount of RAM as well as more storage space, right? So because of extra memory stack manipulation, recursive versions of the functions often run slower. If you are having less memory and you are having less amount of RAM, then you cannot afford recursion versions of different functions. Okay, then their iterative counterparts will be preferred obviously, but this is not always the case. And the recursion can sometimes make code easier to understand. So that is why I was telling you ki there is no hard and fast rule ki here recursion is preferable or here iteration is preferable. Sometimes we feel ki iteration has worked best, and sometimes we realize that no, recursion is much more better giving response this time. So both methods can be used. Whatever you want to use is your choice, but you must know the both methods, how they are working. Okay, recursion is heavy on memory because of each recursive call there are unfinished function calls still lying in memory. Memory use decreases only after the base case has been reached. Till the base case is not reached, the memory consumption will keep on increasing because one function will call another function and it will keep on calling the same function again and again till it reaches the base case. Okay, so its memory consumption of recursion is high. We should keep this thing in mind. Okay, so last comparison about the conclusion about the recursion and iteration. Recursion makes a solution look shorter. Although it is looking shorter, closer in spirit to abstract mathematical identity. Though it is looking shorter, but it will consume more memory and more space of yours. Okay, iteration makes a solution less costly to implement, but it will be lengthier. It will look lengthier. Okay, so length, so it will show more, but it will not be that costly. But it will look short, but it may cost higher than your iteration. Okay, I hope this concept is clear. So beta, tomorrow what we'll be doing, we will be using a program to differentiate the concept of recursion and iteration on a single program only. Okay, so that you may be better differentiating it, how to use recursion for the same type of solution which can be given through iteration. Okay, I hope this concept is clear. So next time I'll be taking a program in the same program with recursion and with iteration also. Although this was your last topic of this chapter, recursion, but I need to take it here because I need to make you aware that how this recursion and iteration works. Okay, so this concept should be clear in your mind, then only you will be able to understand why we are using this, we are doing the same program twice. Okay, thank you, Vita.